Okay, now that you have used Word to type out your hypothesis statements, the second thing you're going to want to do is use Excel to actually run the hypothesis statement and to get the numbers that you're going to use to make your decision. Since I'm testing whether the cost for males is equal to the cost for females, the first thing I have to do is do a little bit of setup work. And I'm going to do that by getting all the male costs together and all the female costs together. Now, it's a really big pain to go through and look at your data and say, okay, this first cost is male, I'm going to write it down under the male column. This second cost is male, I'm going to write it down under the male column. Instead, I'm going to use Excel to pick them apart for me. And I'm going to do that by doing a sort. So I'm going to first highlight the whole data set. I'm going to go to my data tab and I'm going to do a sort. And it says sort by, and I want to sort by gender because I want to sort out all of the males and all of the females. Now I have all of the males together in a group on top and all of the females together on a group on the bottom. So now it's very easy to copy and paste my male costs, copy and paste my female costs. So I've sorted it out so I just have the males here and the females there. Now I get to actually run the data analysis or the hypothesis test. And you're going to find this option under your data analysis tab. I'm still in the data tab on top, but there's a program you should have installed in week 1 called Data Analysis. And if you did not install this program, it's very easy to do. There's actually a video in the week 1 files that will help you with making sure this option is turned on. And I'm going to go down to the bottom where it says t-test to sample for unequal variances, and that's going to be the option I'm going to use. And it's a very simple test. It asks you just to highlight a couple things. First, the column that the first variables are in. Done. The column the second variables are in. I do like to highlight the labels because it helps me keep things straight. If you do that, you do have to check the labels box. And the last box you have to fill in is the hypothesized mean difference. Now, for the majority of the time, we're going to say that we think that these are equal. So we're going to put that the mean difference is actually 0. They're not different at all, so their difference is 0. Okay. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger just so you can read it. And this is actually what you need for your hypothesis test. It starts with some information about each column, the male average and variance, and how many observations there were, as well as the females, your hypothesized mean difference, and then it gives you a couple different statistics you can use to make your decision. The first is what we call the t-stat. And we either compare that to the t-critical value for a one-tailed test or a two-tailed test, depending on what kind of test you're doing. Now, my particular test is a two-tailed test, so I would compare it to where it says t-critical two-tailed. And remember, if the t-stat is larger than the critical two-tail value, we reject H0. Right? So in this case, since it's not larger, I would not reject. I would fail to reject H0 and say the data supports H0. What does that mean? The cost for males and females can be considered equal. So that's the first way you can look at this. The second way you can look at this is to either look at what we call the p-values. I'm going to highlight those. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to highlight your p-values in green. And we compare the p-values to the alpha level. And remember, alpha was what you actually put in Excel as your level of significance, or 0.05. And in general, if the p-value is smaller than alpha, we reject H0 and conclude H1. And again, they should give you the same conclusion either way. Since the p-value, remember this is a two-tailed test, so I'm going to use 0.614, is larger than alpha, we fail to reject H0, and the conclusion's actually the same. So either way, that's going to be how you're going to base your decision based on your Excel. Now, what you need to do is you do need to copy and paste this output from Excel into your Word document that we had set up before, and you need to finish it by putting your conclusion. So maybe I would put this would be my conclusion, and you can write the conclusion right in Excel. You don't have to or write in Word, I'm sorry. You don't have to write it in Excel and then transfer it over. So you do want to make sure you have a conclusion. Remember, your particular project does look at two tests and then some follow-up information.